Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to take a couple minutes to respond to the reaction of the debate that I had by way of David from Miracle Canine, talking about, the source of the problem in the dog training world. So again, going through a lot of the comments, again, kind of getting a snapshot of the comments in reaction to this debate that went on almost 2.5 hours. And here's the thing, again, I'm going to talk through some of this again to offer some perspective, as to where I'm coming from, as well as when I talk about the current state of the dog training world. Even though all these comments are really represent where we're at, in spite of, again, look at all the problems. So again, one of the comments being is that, how I talked about, my conversation was circular. You see a lot of that. Well, yes, it is circular because I'm connecting dots, not just by way of what a process is, by way of a following path of a intervention, versus a learning-based exercise. And again, I talk about how the spotlight shines on the dog owner differently, fully. And again, in terms of when I talk about a intentional, interaction-based method, again, approaching training differently. It does not use treats. It does not use motivating agents to generate response in the middle of a relationship problem. So I go through that, and I tie it in. We talk about circular, right? I talk about the parenting example. Then the other thing I do, which again, dog training world, totally, again, I talk about totally dismissive, not connecting dots at all. These situations, I talk about that they're not some accident or fluke, they tie in, they point directly towards what I'm saying by way of this very popular idea, how it sets up all the confusion, the controversy, look at the Jeff Gelman situation. I talk about that. I talk about other situations. That points directly towards what I'm saying. But here's the thing. Again, you go through the comments. Interesting that the majority of the comments, like 80% of them, either outright reject what I'm saying, are dismissive, or, just getting personal attacks, You'll see it through all the comments. But that's reflective as to where we're at. Now, we'll talk about this, You look at the mess. You look at how bad the dog training world really is. See, that's the default position I keep going back to, which affirms, there's a serious problem, but also lines up in terms of just look at the level of blame shifting, going on in the dog training world. But all these false narratives, all the hypocrisy, all the statements, Robert Cabral, science doesn't belong in dog training, talk through all of it. Balance training, being compromised. Why are they losing their tools? They can't stop it. There's reasons for all of that. But here's the bigger issue. I talk about how this is morphed into a type of belief system. Understand this is really what you're dealing with here. And at a spiritual level, talk about this, it takes a path of idolatry, from a Christian perspective. It's a type of self-worship. It's identity. You're dealing with an identity issue here, how this all layers up. But here's the thing, and I'll make a couple points, is that, because even people question my own motives as to, Dale's looking for, and I see this has been going on for like years. Every time I raise my voice, that Dale's just wanting to gain, popularity, views, likes. Well, that doesn't even, can't reconcile that statement because, from the very beginning, just think about how I approach training, what's popular. All these trainers out there, that's what they're accusing me of doing the very thing that they've already done, And so, when people question my own motives, well, the majority of these trainers' motives are already bad, because it's popularity for all the wrong reasons. I talk about what this process itself represents, how it plays off of, people's emotions, how it leads people into believing certain things that aren't true, both at a response level, but their role itself, that they don't have to change how they think. They don't have to change how they're interacting with their dog, how they're connecting with their dog. It's all false. It sets up a false picture, a false image of nature. And people buy into it. And then you get this thing about personalities. The dog training world has become about just liking people more so than, okay, what's the problem here? What's the truth? And I make that point very clear. If there's something we're doing wrong, by way of an idea we're putting out there that's problematic, then everything should halt. Not even one dog should take the hit. But that's not what's happened here. I make that point very clear. So then you got an ethical issue now. Okay, understand this is a moral, ethical issue that's happening. Well, here's a point I'm going to make here, and I'll make this very clear, because again, I talk about my own motives. I don't wake up every morning and, oh, look, I got 2 more subscribers. I mean, that's not, don't get me wrong, everyone wants to be accepted. Okay, there's this human thing of wanting, of course, everyone wants to be liked, and everyone wants to be wanted, and everyone wants to, that's the world. Okay, understand, and sometimes the world is upside down. So it's that collision course of, even from a Christian level, it's that collision course of what, again, this thing, what defines the truth. I make that point very clear. Even at that level, you look at these 2 groups. Doesn't even make sense. Okay, you get balance trainers they're trying to call each other out. They can't. I talk about that. Again, this is my Flipping the Script series. This is why I go through and I connect all those dots to show, okay, here's the problems. Here, all this lines up. Look, all these situations under a different light, and you'll start to see it if you have eyes to see, okay? If you apply discernment, if you're open to the trade-off. Because that's really what this is about. Understand, once you're confronted with the truth, it requires a response. It requires a trade-off. And see, that's the thing here. I mean, when I talk about, even look at these 2 groups, well, someone's going to be right and someone's going to be wrong. Even that statement, I just put out a video saying, there's more than one way to train a dog. I mean, ask the question, how did that statement even come about? It's at a response level, an appearance-based level. It's this idea that's being propagated by both these groups. Of course, I mean, all these statements. So you start to reconcile these statements properly. Say, well, no, there isn't more than one way. It just appears to be more than one way, and there is truth, and there is a standard. That's it. There is. What's the truth? That training is not a learning-based exercise. Once a relationship problem is underway, it follows a path of a intervention. Okay, I line it up. There's nothing hidden here. Understand that, everything's out there. I put out lots of video of people, but you have to be able to, let that stuff go. You have to be able to shake loose from it. And then you talk this issue about pride and ego. Give me a break. I mean, if you pay attention to all these comments coming out, I mean, and this because this is my challenge. Like, no one had to, years ago, no one had to lead me by the hand towards, understand. I desire that. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Let the chips fall where they may. That was my attitude. And I'm not going to have a bent towards, the truth is the truth. That's the position I took. And that's what happened. And so all these trainers that have all these complaints about what I'm saying, they didn't do that, obviously. Or they wouldn't be promoting this idea in the first place. Or they would look at what's happening around the dog training world, look all these situations. Because the question asked, these situations happen, do any of these trainers actually learn from, they actually audit that, say, what happened? No. Here's a point too. I was contacted by a media company when the Jeff Gelman situation happened. They wanted me to basically, align with, slamming down on Gelman. And I said, I'll talk about the situation, but I'll talk about the real problem. I can talk about the situation that way. They had no interest. They refused to do the interview, to engage. And the place that did that was a lady free thinker. They actually put out an article. Had the email to show it. So all to say that, again, we talk about, the interest of, okay, this is all being propagated. Okay, you see these situations, how they all come about. So all to say that we're in a place right now. Understand this. I talk about losing all perspective with even remote callers. They're being banned even while these balanced dog trainers are still debating their role. I mean, I've been solid from the beginning. You go back years ago and watch my videos. I've never wavered. I've been consistent in the what represents a process, what the source of the problem is. I get into all of that. But understand, this has become hard truth. It's only become hard truth because people have thrown the truth out the window a long time ago, but you'll always find the truth right where you left it. Okay, understand it hasn't gone anywhere. And now this has been on a slow boil, and now you've seen all this escalation. Because that's what's happening right now. You've seen all this escalate. And this is like the hardest thing for people. But it's the truth. And so, but here's the thing. When you throw the truth out the window, and this is from a Christian perspective, okay, and you just, sooner or later, you embrace a lie, and sooner or later, all that's left is judgment. Think about what I just said. All that's left is judgment. What's the judgment coming on this stuff? You know, it's being brought into bondage. And what's the bondage part? You're seeing it now. Is a force-free movement taken over. That's the bondage part. Okay, losing devices. I made this prediction on the debate. Sooner or later, you're going to have to sign off. You want to be a dog trainer? Guess what? Force-free, period. Right? And they'll get to a level, because it doesn't stop. Even the video I put out, you watch the video I put out by way of, it's interesting. Go watch the videos. John McGuigan having a conversation with Ian Dunbar. It just, as things move forward, like, you know, John McGuigan talking about, well, what do you think about using tools and, you know, forcing the dog? And then he gets up to the word of saying, well, even the word no. Because I understand, if there's no truth, if it's subjective, it's however you want to be, ask yourself the question, where's that line? Where does it stop? It doesn't stop. Okay, it kind of like, you know, eats its own, right? Because it's not based on the truth. It's based on a belief system. It's based on a lie. So at a certain point, you get to a point where, guess what? You won't even want to own a dog, right? Because it's like you're going to be under bondage of this ideology at such a level. It's about control. That's why people like Zach George keep putting those statements out. He's exploiting these situations because there's no clarity. He can't exploit them because balanced dog trainers can't, you know, provide clarity through what they're in agreement with. They can't provide clarity as to, okay, what's the real problem here? What defines truth? What defines a standard? What is a process? There's none of that. So again, all to say, okay, we're at a place where, again, I said this before, people presume to know me, presume my motives based on what exactly? That I'm actually, you know, putting it out there as to what the real problem is. It's for people to sort that out. It's not that it's difficult. Because again, the point I'll make, people seem to have all the time in the world to go on social media, go on, because I see the same people going from video to video, the same people leaving comments, these same individuals just trying to attack, get personal. They have all the time in the world to do that. But they don't seem to have any time to actually sit down based on what's currently happening to say, this is serious. If there's a problem, let's take the time. Because it is about people's motives. It is an ethical issue. You know, it's not about that. It's about, you know, being twisted up in this stuff and then trying to force this on other people. That's how idolatry works, okay, by the way. You know, so again, understand the dog training world's in bad shape. It's not getting any better. It's not going to get better. I made that point on that discussion. Like, what's my opinion? Where's it going? That's why I say it was a great discussion, because people are going to say about circular or whatever, but, you know, David gave the ability for me to do all that. And so I stepped away from that. You know, I'm satisfied, okay? People aren't going to be satisfied, but I already know that. But, you know, so my hat off to David for the willingness to do that. And I knew right away, of course, you got to take tremendous heat, okay, for even having me on. I mean, read the comments. Because people don't want to hear it, right? It's like saying, well, because it's like they're just blind to everything. But understand something, in the dog training world, okay, and I said this before, you can mark this, put this in your journal, okay, what my predictions are. I made these predictions even with the remote callers being banned. It's already happened. But you're going to be forced into coming in agreement with this. It's a bondage, force-free agenda fully. Because that's what's going to happen. It's going to reach its ultimate fulfillment, this belief system. Okay, once you really understand what's going on here, this isn't about the truth. This is about an ideology. This is about a belief system. And balanced dog trainers, they're compromised in that. Okay, and you see the compromised statements all over the place. So, you know, and then once you start to embrace it, right, and it's hard to come out of it. I mean, that's the point. It's like deprogramming. I'm not even kidding. And so, because I never did that. So, you know, for me, you know, being content with what I do, hey, I've done what I've always done. Understand my whole thing here is just follow the path of nature. Dogs are amazing animals. The system of training, it appreciates dogs for the amazing animal that they are. That's the thing that gets me here. It's like, in the end, it's like, if you really appreciate dogs for the amazing animals that they really are in terms of what science is supposed to be, then you're going to question and you're going to challenge. You're going to look at the problem. See, this doesn't happen. This never happened. And so it's just like collateral damage. So there's like, I can go through, 30 reasons why this is messed up. And I go, that's why the Flipping the Script series is helpful for anyone who wants to go through it, because I connect the dots. All the situations all lines up. But there's an end point too to that. So it's like my final video is going to come out on that on the 1st of April. And I'm moving forward. So it's just like, because the issue about information, it's information specific. If you watch the video content, I'm not getting personal with any of these trainers. It's information based. The same can't be said with all these people leaving comments and wanting to get personal, because that's the interesting thing. I mean, go and find a comment of any of these individuals actually get into what I'm saying regarding, learning theory and why this sets up a counterfeit picture, and the issue about connecting dots even through the parenting example. Like, and appreciate David actually showed, interest in that, opening that door up and allowing me to talk through it. And so, again, it was like, the way it should be in terms of, again, the conversation. Walking away, say, well, we agree to disagree because there's just points that aren't movable. Understand that I talk about the system of training, what it is, there is truth, there is a standard. That's the thing. And I don't waver in that. I can still have a discussion and respect the person for engaging a certain way, and that's the case here for sure. So, but again, all to say that, looking at the comments, there's more going on here than meets the eye. This is why I say that debate is worthy in the sense of putting everything out there. Okay, I covered a lot of ground. You can go watch it multiple times. And if you're really open to, understanding, okay, there's lots of information there. If you want to shut it down, you can do that. But understand something here. The dog training world's on a one-way path here. Okay, and the more I see, the more I know that this is not heading to a good place. It's not in a good place now. But this is going to shake loose in a way that, again, you're going to see the force-free movement taking over. So don't complain. Okay, my thing is I put all this information. People can write it off. They say they don't have the time. You can support all this ideology, that whatever way you want. Don't complain when this is already, when you're like saying, I have to go to the business office now and I can't do what I wanted to do. Guess the truth wasn't really subjective, and that's not even the truth. It's based on a lie. But now I have to go down to the business office and I have to sign off. I can't be a trainer my way anymore. And a lot of these balanced dog trainers probably compromise anyway, and just big deal. I'll just do that. Because they didn't ask questions in the first place. So, a lot of them are probably you get balanced dog trainers making statements like they call themselves, purely positive balanced dog trainers. Well, they're already right there anyway. They're already compromised, so let's compromise a little more. Okay, that's it. I never compromise. I said this is why I said I wouldn't even sit down at the same table with, a group of clicker trainers years ago. There's the line. Okay, I'm not gonna come alongside anyone who approaches trains of learning-based exercise is engaged in that way, because I understand what that generates. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if people don't understand it. You can say I don't understand, but I know the truth. So, and people can take that for what it is too. But there's got to be truth. See, understand something here. If you look at all these statements about there's more than one way, that doesn't even make sense. Look at all the massive problems. So obviously there's a problem. There is truth, right? Just that it's all superficial, all based on appearances. Doesn't line up. I go through all of it. So there is a standard, there is truth. Just all these trainers, balanced and force free, have just taken a hold of this idea and ran with it and made lots of money off of it, exploited everything. You can say whether they're complicit in whatever way but the truth is out there, and now there's a trade-off. I made that trade-off at the beginning. Okay, I didn't have to make the trade-off. I already knew. So just saying it is what it is. That's it. And so now we are at where we're at, and all these problems being generated. That's no accident. Dogs. Do you think it's like the dog's fault here? And that's the amazing thing. It's like You know, it's like incredible how people can get to such a level where they're just like writing everything off because it is a belief system. Understand, this is not about evidence. This is about a belief system. This is about identity. Okay, all these issues. So, you know, I'm releasing a book about that soon. Okay, I'm talking through all of it. But moving forward, understand, I'm here to help people the right way. I'm here to help dogs the right way. It's always been my focus. It continues to be. I'm raising my voice. I'm putting out, you know, lots of video content, but I'm moving forward. And people can accept it, reject it, you know, but don't, you know, people want to try to engage me with, you know, pretending to dance around. Well, you know, that ain't going to happen. I pin people down, and then they have to write it off or whatever they want to do, but it's out there. So I just say, look at the dog training world. That's why it's talk about circular, absolutely circular, because I'm tying in all the problems, bringing it right back to a process. I'm tying all these situations that those are no accidents. Okay, all those are symptomatic. Even the breed-specific bans, everything. Device call, look, all these situations, Gelman, all of it. That people are just like, this is the crazy thing. This is we're at such a level now that the truth is right there. But now, see, it brings you up against the decision, you know. So that's it. So that's my thoughts on the comments. You know, people have the freedom to say whatever they want, just like I do. But the information, I put it all out there. If you know, you can put everything I say to the test. You go through all my videos, take the time, you know, put it to the test. But again, it is what it is. And that's my take on everything, you know, just so if you say, well, why isn't Dale responding to some of these crazy comments? Well, because it's the same old. I mean, those have been there. A lot of these same people have, you know, I've had, you know, haters, you know, came on my first book way back in, you know, when I released Beyond the Leash. It's the same haters that are still, you know, engaging from years ago. I mean, see, that's the thing. This is identity so twisted up. So it's not, it goes beyond just the evidence of things. It goes into this whole issue about the relationship. It goes into this issue of identity. You know, that's why dogs get devalued. People don't want the motives exposed here. That's really what it is. People don't want this brought out into the light, right? That's what I'm doing. Bring out in the light and say, here you go. This is like, these are no accidents. This is all connected. And so people, again, they're going to continue to try to write it all off. Meanwhile, dog training world's coming apart at the seams. Okay, understand that. It's amazing. Dog training world's coming apart at the seams. I just covered a few examples. There's so many out there. There's so many thousands and thousands of situations. And it's like people are just moving forward because no one's, you know, interested in, okay. And then that's what happens sometimes. Things will collapse. So again, pay attention. The bad things are coming. I hate to say that, but the storm's coming. It's already here. And you're going to see it in the United Kingdom. You're seeing it. Canada. Right now, Canada's actually, you know, I see, you know, trying to gather up more information about, you know, training and stuff. So it's the Trojan horse, okay? So don't be surprised. You have to go down to the business office a year from now. That's what's going to happen. It's not based on the truth. It's because people allowed this to happen. They didn't want to confront it the right way. They didn't want to actually face off on what it was. And why do you think people like Zach George can have millions of followers and just get away with saying the things he's saying all the time? I mean, all these traits. So it doesn't even. It's just a foundational level. It doesn't even make sense. Like how can all these things be aligned it all up? Well, because there is truth, and the lie is being embraced by both these groups, and that's it. You get turned over to it. That's what's happened here. But thanks for watching. I do get support. I do appreciate the support. But again, you know, I just want to talk through it. People know exactly, being fully transparent, knowing exactly where I'm coming from. People can take whatever they want away from the debate, the video content I put out. But ultimately, understand this. You know, I said this before, you know, even from my first police dog, for me to honor even the legacy or memory of Ruben, what the place I'm at, where I'm at, it would be totally dishonoring to embrace this idea of things. People can take that for whatever it wants, because I understand the issues here. And so, you know, I'm here to help people the right way. That's it. You know, so again, I really do, Miracle Canine, engaging. That doesn't take anything away from David, what he did with allowing me to, you know, to have that conversation. It needs to be had. I said this before, this is a difficult thing. It's the hardest thing, especially when we get to this level. But look at it. I would encourage anyone, before you even get upset with what I have to say, take a look at the dog training world. Look at that's the Flipping the Script series. Go through all that, ask yourself the question, what's happening here? Like, are these things that are happening, are they just coming out of nowhere? Or is it related to what is being embraced as a process? That's the thing you have to ask as an individual. Okay, individual level stuff here. Because again, people just go in the dog training world and they say, "Oh, that looks great. I'm going to take a hold of that idea and run with it." That's the problem. Balanced dog trainers are built off of this idea, and so again, it's bad because when you add, ask yourself the question: what's the most dangerous lie of all? A lie that has some truth in it. Okay, and that's what's going on here. So, thanks for watching.